Hi everyone, sKy here. This is a new series about the history of the English language. Part 1. Just like a lot of Europe, Britain was first inhabited by the Celts. We call these people the Britons. Then with Julius Caesar, the island gets invaded around 40 BC and occupied by the Romans, who bring their language, Latin, and eventually Christianity onto the island. They stayed here for almost 400 years, built some roads, but then eventually left because of threats from Germanic tribes. After they left, a lot of tribes fought over the island, but eventually the Angles, Jutes, and Saxons ended up victorious. This is where the name Anglo-Saxon comes from, referring to this period of English history. This is also when Old English was spoken, and Beowulf was written. They had a very different writing system, with things like the thorn. You'd have no idea what was happening if you tried to read this language. Then, in 700, the Vikings came. They pillaged about a little, raped a few villages, and left their influence on the language too. The days of the week, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, come from Norse, along with other words like club, slaughter, and ransack. As you can see, Vikings had a very specific influence on English. In 1066, William of Normandy conquered Britain, and soon the entire upper class was speaking French. The church still wrote in Latin, which was an old Roman influence, but the upper class spoke French. But only the lower classes spoke English, a vulgar and lowly language. English became a third-rate language in its own country. The English lower classes cooked for the French upper class, so all of our names are from Old English, but all of our names for the meats come from French. For example, beef, whereas cow comes from Old English. A lot of English came originally from French during this time. During the period from the 11th century to the 14th century, English became a gutter language, which really killed all of the grammatical complexities because only the lowly working class spoke it. Noun genders died out by the 14th century. During this time, also about 85% of English died out due to unuse, and it seemed to be in peril. Soon though, English came out successful. The 100 Years' War branded French as the language of the enemies, and the Black Death disproportionately killed more Latin clergy than anyone else. English started to become more and more important, and by 1385, English was the language used in schools. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe down below and stay tuned for the next video. Up next, English literature.